Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to be reading the book Oviraptor. Oviraptor is written by Susan H. Gray, and we're going to learn why Olson named the new dinosaur Egg Stealer and how later scientists finally uncovered the truth about Oviraptor. Table of contents. Chapter 1 is faithful to the end. Chapter 2 is what is an Oviraptor? Chapter 3 is who found Oviraptor? Chapter 4 is about what did Oviraptor eat? Chapter 5 is where did Oviraptor live? Chapter 6 is when did Oviraptor live? And chapter 7 is why did the dinosaurs disappear? Chapter 1 Faithful to the End. Little Oviraptor squinted her eyes. The wind was growing stronger. Dust and sand were flying everywhere. Sand grains blew across her face. She shut her eyes tight and lowered her head. Her eyes stung and began to water. The wind roared and the sandstorm grew fierce. But the little dinosaur did not budge. Instead, she settled more securely into her nest. Just beneath her were 15 eggs. Inside each one, a baby oviraptor was growing. The howl of the wind became even louder. The air was so filled with sand that the sky grew dark. The mother dinosaur tried to shield the eggs with her body. Sand swept up against the side of the nest. It covered Oviraptor's back and arms. The sand slowly rose higher. Soon, only her neck and head were showing above the sand. Wind pounded the little dinosaur, but Oviraptor did not leave her eggs. The sand crept slowly up her neck and then buried her completely. Helpless, Oviraptor took her last breath and died. Let's look at the picture captions now. By sitting on her nest, the mother Oviraptor protected her eggs. During the day, she would have provided shade from the scorching desert sun. As it got colder during the night, her body would have helped the eggs stay warm. Sandstorms, where the oviraptor lived, were both sudden and severe. An oviraptor could be buried trying to protect her nest. Chapter 2 What is an oviraptor? An oviraptor is a dinosaur that lived from about 88 million to 70 million years ago. Its name is taken from Latin words that mean egg robber. It was given this name because scientists first believed that Oviraptor ate the eggs of other dinosaurs. From its snout to the tip of its tail, an adult was about 6 to 8 feet, or 1.8 to 2.4 meters long. The reptile weighed around 55 to 75 pounds, or 25 to 34 kilograms, and stood about 3 feet or 0.9 meters tall. Oviraptor could run quickly on its two back legs, perhaps up to 40 miles or 64 kilometers per hour in short bursts. At the end of Oviraptor's arms were strong hands that could grab and hold things. The hands had 3 very long fingers, each with a sharp, curved claw. The reptile's tail was thick and barely reached the ground. Usually, the dinosaur held its tail straight out and back as it walked or ran. Oviraptor's skeleton was very lightweight because its bones were filled with holes. Even its skull was not solid. Some bones were so full of holes that they looked spongy. Its lightweight skeleton and powerful legs made the dinosaur a fast runner. The picture captions. This is a picture of what a young oviraptor might have looked like. He looks cute, but watch out. His claws and sharp beak are very dangerous. A peculiar feature of Oviraptor is the bony crest located above its nasal cavity. Scientists have many theories about what it was used for. Some scientists believe Oviraptor may have used its crest to amplify sound. Today, Southeast Asian birds, known as hornbills, use a similar crest, called a casque, to magnify their own calls. Lightweight bones could have been a great advantage for Oviraptor, giving it the speed it needed to escape from bigger dinosaurs. Chapter 3. Who found Oviraptor? George Olson was with a team of scientists when he discovered Oviraptor. They were working in Mongolia's Gobi Desert. It was the 1920s, and the team was led by Roy Chapman Andrews. Andrews was an explorer and paleontologist. Roy Chapman Andrews had a reputation for getting into dangerous situations and is said to have inspired the movie character Indiana Jones. While he was an explorer, Andrews spent 2 weeks stranded on a deserted island, was shipwrecked in shark-infested waters, and accidentally camped in a den of 47 poisonous snakes. Paleontologists study ancient plants and animals. His team was in the desert looking for fossils and other interesting things that could help them learn about Earth long ago. Unfortunately, their life in the desert was miserable. The wind was so strong that it tore off the men's shirts. Blowing sand ripped their flesh until it bled. The afternoon heat made them sick. Nighttime temperatures were close to freezing. Poisonous snakes slithered into the men's tents as they slept. Still, the scientists worked on. They searched valleys and hills. They trekked over sand dunes. They kept on despite the hardships. Finally, their work paid off. One man found the skeleton of a giant rhinoceros. Others found dinosaur bones. Then, one day, George Olson returned to camp, saying he found some fossilized eggs. Andrews did not believe it at first, but then he went with Olson to see for himself. At a place called the Flaming Cliffs, they found not only eggs, but also a small dinosaur skeleton. The scientists believe that the little dinosaur had been raiding another dinosaur's nest when it died. Thinking it was an egg thief, they gave it the name Oviraptor. 70 years later, paleontologists were again exploring the Gobi Desert. They found another Oviraptor skeleton. This one had its arms spread over a nest of eggs. The scientists realized these were really Oviraptor's eggs. Suddenly, Everyone saw the dinosaur in a new way. It was not a nest raider at all. It had eggs of its own and died protecting them. The picture captions. In 1922, Andrews and his team ventured out into previous unexplored parts of the Gobi Desert, using some of the region's first automobiles. Along the way, they braved vicious sandstorms and heavily armed bandits. Andrews became the director of the American Museum of Natural History in 1941. He wrote many books about his explorations. In 1993, paleontologists discovered a fossil in Mongolia that gave new clues to the true nature of Oviraptor. The fossil contained an oviraptor skeleton atop its eggs. Mark Norrell, one of the paleontologists who was there, helped show that Oviraptor was not eating the eggs. With this new evidence, paleontologists now believe that Oviraptor was a protective parent. Stuck with a bad name. Imagine that you have discovered a new kind of dinosaur. You are the first person in the world to see it. You cannot believe your good luck, and you are dying to tell everyone. This is probably how the men of Roy Chapman Andrews' team felt when they first saw Oviraptor. It is how many paleontologists feel when they discover a new animal. They cannot wait to tell the world. But telling the world is not easy. Scientists must follow strict rules when they do this. First, they check all the official books and lists to make sure the animal was not discovered already. Then, they describe everything about the new creature. If it is a dinosaur, they measure the bones and count the fingers and toes. They look closely at the teeth. They try to figure out what the animal ate. They write down where it was found, and they take lots of pictures. They also pick out a name for the dinosaur, one that tells something about it. Sometimes, during all of this, animals get stuck with the wrong names. At first, everyone believed Oviraptor was a thief, but skeletons discovered more than 70 years later showed something different. The little dinosaur was really an egg protector. But it was too late. Oviraptor was already stuck with its bad name. Chapter 4. What did Oviraptor eat? Oviraptor was probably an omnivore. This means that it ate both plants and animals. Its diet may have included fruits, eggs, shellfish, meat, and leaves. Most dinosaurs were not omnivores. Many were carnivores, meaning they ate only meat. The picture caption. T-Rex, like Oviraptor, was in the group of dinosaurs known as theropods. Theropods had big and powerful bird-like legs and small arms. Carnivores had sharp claws for killing animals and sharp teeth for tearing them apart. Most dinosaurs were herbivores, meaning they ate only plants. They had no need for sharp claws. They had broad, bumpy teeth for grinding up leaves and twigs. Why do paleontologists think Oviraptor was an omnivore? The dinosaur's skeleton holds the clues. Scientists think that Oviraptor's long legs probably helped it chase down prey. Its long, clawed fingers could have helped it tear meat apart. Its strong jaws could have cracked clamshells. Its hard beak would have been perfect for tearing apart plants. And because the animal was so small and close to the ground, it could have snapped up insects and eggs. In other words, Oviraptor was built for eating all kinds of things. Very large dinosaurs spent most of their time eating. Some had to eat hundreds of pounds of food every day, but not Oviraptor. Because it was small, it got by on much less. It probably ate just a few quick meals and snacks per day. Big carnivores, such as the neovator, had to eat often and needed to consume large amounts of food to stay full. Chapter 5. Where did Oviraptor live? So far, we know of only one country where Oviraptor lived. That country is Mongolia. Someday, Oviraptor might be found elsewhere. But also, a century has passed since the first discovery, and no one has found the dinosaur anywhere else. Many other kinds of dinosaurs have been found in Mongolia. In fact, the country is a favorite place for fossil hunters. What makes it so special? In Mongolia, the environment is just right for fossils to survive. When dinosaurs died, different things could happen to their bodies. Some were eaten by other dinosaurs. Some were washed away by floods. Some just rotted to pieces. These dinosaurs would have left nothing behind. However, other dinosaurs died and were quickly buried in sand, mud, or volcanic ash. Nothing could eat these dinosaurs. Bacteria did not cause them to rot. And these buried dinosaurs could not blow away or wash away. The Gobi Desert in Mongolia is the perfect place to preserve dinosaur bones. Mongolian dinosaurs were probably caught in flash floods, sandstorms, or collapsing sand dunes. They were buried in mud or hot sand. Their skeletons remained untouched for centuries. Now scientists are finding them. The picture captions. The fossils found in southern Mongolia are made up mostly of animals, including birds and dinosaurs, that lived some 80 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. This was about 15 million years before the dinosaurs disappeared. Fossilized dinosaurs, such as the Oviraptor, have made Mongolia one of the richest places on Earth for fossil hunting. Even though it is one of the best places in the world to find well-preserved dinosaur fossils, paleontologist expeditions to Mongolia require an enormous amount of time, patience, and money. Paleontologists must navigate through uncharted territory, a land with no roads and no maps, as they search for fossils that remain hidden. A new way to hunt fossils. Looking for fossils has always meant spending long hours outdoors. In places such as the Gobi Desert, fossil hunting is especially tough. The desert is huge and the weather is bad. There are no gas stations or grocery stores. Tents and camping equipment get blown away and buried. Paleontologists in the Gobi draw maps to remember where they have seen fossils. But the sandstorms come and change everything. Roads and pathways get covered up. Landmarks blow away. Now, some paleontologists are trying a new way to find fossils. Before they ever set foot in the desert, they look at photos taken by satellite. A satellite called Landsat circles high above Earth, shooting pictures of the planet. It transmits the pictures back to scientists on the ground. Paleontologists study Landsat pictures of the Gobi Desert. From the photos, they find the areas most likely to have fossils. Then they know right where to go when they arrive at the desert. This saves days of driving, walking, and searching. Chapter 6. When did Oviraptor live? Oviraptor lived during a time called the Cretaceous period. The entire period lasted from about 144 million to 65 million years ago. Oviraptor lived during the last part of the period. What was the Cretaceous period anyway? Why don't we just say that Oviraptor lived millions of years ago? Why do we need to call it the Cretaceous period? Phrases such as the Cretaceous period help scientists talk about time. Think about the words you use to talk about time. You talk about your mornings, afternoons, weekends, and summers. You use such words because these times are important to you. You do different things at each of these different times. Scientists are the same way. They know that life has been on Earth for millions of years. They know that living things have changed a lot over the years. They know that the climate, land, and oceans have changed too. Scientists have given names to the different stages of Earth's history. This helps them imagine how the world looked at different times. Scientists believe that dinosaurs first appeared around 225 million years ago during the Triassic period. Early dinosaurs were small animals, not the giants we usually picture. Earth was fairly warm at that time. Ferns and mosses covered the ground. Next, during the Jurassic period, many large dinosaurs appeared. Reptiles flew through the skies and swam in the oceans. Small, rat-like mammals ran around the ground. During the Cretaceous period, oak and maple trees sprang up. Birds soared through the air. Oviraptor trotted around in Mongolia. By the end of the period, Oviraptor and all the other dinosaurs had disappeared. The dinosaurs lived through 3 long periods of Earth's history. The words Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous help scientists and us imagine the world at those different times. The picture captions. Scientists think of the Cretaceous period as the heyday of the dinosaurs. This means the dinosaurs thrived during this time. Dinosaurs such as T. rex and Triceratops appeared, as did many others. Very early dinosaurs include Pisianosaurus that lived in Argentina more than 200 million years ago. During the late Cretaceous period, pteranodons, meaning winged and toothless, flew through the air. Pteranodons were flying reptiles that hunted fish, mollusks, and crabs. Chapter 7. Why did the dinosaurs disappear? No one is quite sure why the dinosaurs became extinct, but by the end of the Cretaceous period, they were all gone. Dinosaurs were not the only animals to disappear. Flying reptiles also died out. The swimming reptiles of the sea vanished as well. Different plant forms died too. Scientists have several ideas about why this great extinction took place. Some believe that lots of volcanoes erupted during that time. Perhaps volcanic ash and fumes polluted the air too much for plants and animals to live. Other scientists say that mammals were eating all the dinosaur eggs. Perhaps this caused the dinosaurs to die out. Some scientists think that a giant asteroid crashed into Earth. As it did, dust and ash rose into the air for miles around. Sunlight could barely shine through it. Without enough sunlight, plants died. Because of this, plant-eating animals also died. Then, the animals that ate them died. By the time the dust settled, the dinosaurs were history. We may never know exactly what happened. In fact, there are many things we don't know about dinosaurs. What was Oviraptor's favorite food? Why did it have that crest? And did it ever steal other dinosaurs' eggs? Plenty of questions remain. Maybe you will grow up to be a scientist who can answer them. The picture caption. Many scientists believe that an asteroid slammed into the Earth about 65 million years ago. This would have devastated the environment and led to the mass extinction of plant and animal life.